What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Take It Apart channel, where we're going to explore everyday technology. We're going to open it up, take a look and see how it works. Maybe figure out some of its weak points, its strong points, maybe some of its points altogether if I've never taken some of these items apart. And today we have a motion sensor, also called a driveway sensor, a driveway alarm. And this guy is pretty typical. Is very simple. It uses very little electricity. I think it has 2 or 3 AA or AAA batteries inside it. It's got 3 AAA batteries, and they're probably wired in series, so that's 1.5 volts times 3. And it can last a long time, which is really fascinating because the old ones did not. They ate batteries alive. But the new ones are pretty cool. So let's go ahead and show you what it does. I'll plug it into an electrical source over here. And there you go. Okay, unfortunately, guys, that's going to be very loud. I'm sorry. And this guy here is the sensor. You can see it light up. And I don't believe there is a way to turn that volume down. And what happens is when it senses heat on this side using its PIR, or passive infrared sensor array, it then will activate a known condition, sends a signal over RF to this guy, and it says, hey, something's going on, and it triggers. So let's go ahead, let's open it up. We will go through every step of how it does what it does, and hopefully we'll get some answers, because these guys, they're very inexpensive, but they're awesome. You can use them even for home security. Put them in your garage, put them on stairwells. If you have an older person that might be a trip hazard, you can put them near stairs. That way there you're alerted that, hey, this person's about to do something very ridiculous. Cool stuff, all right? You can put them even outside your house along the perimeter. It'll let you know somebody or something is not where it should be. Okay, let's flip this around. Let's check it out. All right, guys, here it is. This is the 1x1. And I believe I got this guy off Amazon. The sensor array is really simple. It's just got the 3 AAA batteries, and it's got a keyhole. Nothing major there. However, this is the alarm, and it's got a couple different settings on it. It's got a bell chime, and it's got, well, there's the volume control. It can play music for you. It can do a variety of things. Very simple. Non-polarized plug, so you could put it in this orientation or this orientation. Nothing too special. So let's go ahead and let's take apart the sensor array first. I think the sensor is where the magic happens. That is where the passive infrared is. It's where the batteries are. Oh gosh, look at that. I got Duracell batteries. Duracell batteries that have not leaked yet. And as I said before, we have 3 batteries in 4.5 volts configuration because it is in series. AAA batteries. Oddly enough, even those AAA batteries, there's plenty of real estate in this package to use AA batteries, and it would last longer. But it already lasts for months with the AAA batteries. So, maybe that's why they didn't go for a larger battery compartment. Hard to say. It uses all number 1 Phillips to pull it apart. 3 screws, 1 under the batteries, and 2 up here in the upper areas, holding the clamshell together. Lovely. All right, and I'm being very careful because we have a glued in LED right here. I'm just going to pull it out. All right, so this is the sensor array, and luckily, look at that. They even labeled it. It says 4.5 volts and ground. Pretty simple. This is the sensor itself, and it is not that spectacular. What is spectacular is the Fresnel lens right here, which extends the range and the sensitivity of that sensor. Now the sensor itself I do believe that this one here is just a single lens sensor, because normally you can see it bifurcated, or you can see it in quads, which means there's 4 little sensors. But I believe that this one here is just one large sensor tab right there. And the Fresnel lens itself is what's going to split it off. And wow, I just noticed something. Most of this is an absolute hoax. Okay. Okay. Look at the window, the aperture for that little sensor. Okay. Notice how it's got this black shroud that's covering it? That's also blocking out all the infrared for the rest of this Fresnel lens. So the only Fresnel that's actually working is like that right there. That's it. Just one tiny little Fresnel lens, but that it has the impression that it has a super wide field of view. It does not. It's got a tiny little window. Oh my gosh, these products. As I said, normally if the sensor is got different lenses on it, you can see that it's multiple sensors on one package. Then you would use the whole entire Fresnel lens. And a Fresnel lens is a very special type of lens which can divide light patterns very uniquely. And this guy here, you can see that there is some hemispherical patterns that are engraved into the lens. And what happens is if I were to draw this out, the Fresnel lens will split infrared light coming in, and it focuses it right there on your sensor. And when you are detecting infrared, it's heat, okay? And heat, this is a PIR sensor is what they're called. And what happens is heat, when it moves from one section to the next, it controls voltage differences right here on your sensor. And the voltage differences indicate, hey, I have movement. All right? It's actually a pretty simple concept. And this lens is just, it's fascinating that it even works at all. But the only real lens that's doing work is this guy right here, because this guy here is a shroud to block all other infrared patterns except for this tiny little window, which is just covering what? One or two, the edges of 2 of the Fresnel curves. Wild. Never ever would have known that had I not taken it apart. All right, let's get right into the circuit board. Just 2 Phillips head screws. It's going to be really simple. Yeah, there we go. So you're going to have some sort of analog to digital converter, because this signal over here, although no, it might actually be a digital signal on this guy, but no, it's a voltage level. It's going to be analog, right? So the analog signal is going to come over to an analog digital converter, which is only going to flag, hey, I've got a condition, or hey, ones or zeros. I've got a condition, or I don't have a condition, right? That's all it cares about. And there is an antenna that is built in right here around the perimeter. Right here around the very edge is an antenna, and that is my wireless antenna for the RF signal that goes into this guy. Cool stuff. Nothing much major there. No surprises at all, actually, because sometimes there are other outputs that you could solder into for other functions, but this guy is probably a singular function design. In other words, that chip might be utilized in other security systems and whatnot, and maybe it has things like PoE or whatnot. This one does not. It's just very ragtag regular, guys. So this right here is the alarm panel. Obviously, if it operates on RF of some sort, then it's going to have an RF receiver antenna. Someplace in the design it's going to have that. And normally you'd expect something like a hidden screw, but I'm not getting that. So Means that there's probably a couple clips down here at this side. Am I right? It does appear that there might be some clips down there. And, unfortunately, it looks like in order for me to get this guy off, it's going to be destructive. Yeah, see these little clips? Nuts. It luckily didn't destroy anything. The wires, there is no room whatsoever. Aye. And if I pull that, it's going to separate that speaker. The speaker is glued in pretty well. Darn it. I really like being able to pull those out and just lay everything out for you guys. 2 screws holding the circuit board in. There we go. And interesting. So here would be the antenna. That is your receiving antenna. It's going to have a AC to DC power circuit because in order for you to do something digital, it has to be converted to DC. So AC power comes in. It's got some smoothing caps and whatnot. You've got 2 rectifying diodes right here, and it goes right into IC number 4. All right, and these guys over here are probably your sound bank, which is going to be all the different tones that it can play. It can play some MIDI style music, and also the standard alarm. It's also got a timer circuit because one of the things that we are going to set is the duration of the alarms. So if it alarms once every minute, once every 5 minutes, etc., that is one of the settings that this guy has, and so it has to have a timer circuit. Pretty cool stuff, guys. Very simple. Got a bunch of large electrolytic caps. Bare bones at best. And since it's all in a plastic case with screws that are not even in contact with anything, it's going to be reasonably safe. Inexpensive, and I'm guessing they probably produced this item for maybe a couple minutes. I'm guessing that they produced this item for maybe a couple dollars, maybe. But guys, it is what it is. So that is fascinating. That would be an infrared motion sensor. Who knew? Kind of expected though. So anyway, guys, that's it. That's all I got for you. Thank you for watching. I've got several other videos. I've got to edit. Oh gosh, I got to edit some of these videos. I'll get them out to you guys as fast as I can. We're going to cover some toys. We're going to cover more interesting household electronics. And I got some large items that I got my hands on, and I just can't wait to tear them apart. I might not get them back together, but I can't wait to tear them apart. So, thank you guys for watching. See you next time on the Tear It Apart channel.